So this guy will be remaking a Filipino icon that the world banned and tried to erase. Crazy. Let's see this together, please.
We are making the world's most banned knife, the butterfly knife, aka
That is huge.
It is banned, feared, and completely misunderstood.
Knives are the criminal's most common ally, increasingly used on London's streets for both robbery and violence.
But the Bali song has roots in Filipino culture that deserve to be celebrated.
Whoa.
But a lot of people don't know that it's from...
Bro, but Filipinos just so damn badass, bro. Can I just say that, bro? I love them. They're so wholehearted, sweet. And on top of that, they just so damn cool. I don't know, bro. Hey, maybe I'm glazing, bro. It is what it is. But I'm going to be honest, though. Like, knives are, like, the scariest weapon to me because, like, just the imagination of, like, being, like, stabbed is, like, terrifying. Like, God, bro. I cook food, by the way, and so like seeing like, you know, chicken be cut and stuff, just imagining like that's your skin, like, ow. Like, obviously I've been hurt a lot, like cooking and doing things like that. You can see literally, like, it hurts, bro, cooking. But like the reality is, the imagination of like a knife, bro, it's just like when you think about it, like being stabbed, bro. Hell nah, bro. And that knife was huge. I've seen a lot of like Bali salon, is it called, right? Bali. I'm already mispronouncing it, but like I've seen a lot of them, especially one of my friends had them, but that was a huge one he was showing.
The Philippines. Yeah. Even a lot of Filipinos outside of the Philippines don't even know that it's from the Philippines.
Today we head back to the birthplace of this iconic blade. Craft one with artisans whose families have been doing it for generations.
Singing
We're
them out.
find out why it's even banned, and then we're gonna see what makes it so iconic.
Whoa, that's really cool. Oh, yeah.
Dr. Pentecost sent me. Oh, that's great.
All right, guys.
Yo, that just hurt.
Today we're here with Ron, and
me.
We are putting you on the spot.
Ron Carino, a Filipino American with just a real passion for the Bali song. He's the founder of KNB Bali Song, a non-profit that is dedicated to keeping this culture and the craftsmanship of this Filipino pocket knife alive.
Oh, that's beautiful.
He's brought me to the birthplace of the Bali Song, where generations have kept this tradition
Bali
going.
song.
And we are here with?
We're here with Kuya Vic Bautista,
Kuya.
Who's one of the famous Bautista brothers, some of the most well-known balisong makers here in town.
He learned how to craft from his father when he was little more than a child, and he's still making these today.
All right, so we're coming up on Kuya Vic's workshop. It is sort of like a small knifesmith, bladesmith shop here in the sort of, I don't know what you'd call this, a little courtyard. We've got a big belt, some drills. I see a bunch of Bali song laid out. I'll let him get to work and we'll break down the steps.
We're making this Bali song with traditional materials, brass housing, and handles finished with bone, horn, or wood.
And then for the blade, they'll usually make it with molia, which is oftentimes recycled spring leaves from jeepneys. So they make it from bearing as well. So spring leaves and bearing as well.
Do you guys think you would be able to make this like first try? I don't think I'd ever be able to do that. Even if I was like taught step by step, I feel like I wouldn't be able to do it. I feel like it just takes so much like technique that I would never even, I'd be scared to do it too, because like you're around heat, and obviously like in a kitchen you're around heat too. I'd be cooking all the time, but like it's a different kind of heat. This is literally like only like molten type heat, right? Isn't it like lava almost you need to like almost bend the metal? And I don't know.
I think it's like the go-to material for Filipino knives. When I came here previously shooting bolos, it was also made almost entirely from leaf spring.
It's crazy.
Yeah. These are the key materials to a heavy, solid built knife, with a totally different flow and feel to the light aluminum and plastic knockoffs that come out of China. We start out with the housing. 2 sheets of brass are hammered into shape using a template to get that exact width and dimensions.
So it usually takes them 1 to 2 days to finish a whole balisong. It's completely by hand. And that's
so
what
cool.
The difference is between a handmade balisong versus a machine-made balisong. They're literally pouring their heart, their sweat, their blood sometimes into every single balisong that they make.
In
That's
the corner
beautiful.
of the workshop, there's this massive belt-driven grinder, a Frankenstein of old-school ingenuity. It's powered by this aging electric motor and weighed down with a cage of stones. This beast is going to be doing all the heavy lifting today.
I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear any of this, but we have sort of like a small bucket of water. It's frequently just dunking the brass in the water and then grinding away to smooth it out.
That's
This
so
thing is
scary.
loud, big, and seems kind of dangerous. Just a giant belt.
What do you think would happen if your finger just accidentally slipped? Ugh. Ow. Ugh. The rug burn, bro. I'm imagining.
Across the workshop.
The steel housings are smoothed and leveled until they are identical in size. The edges are finished by hand before moving on to the measurements. Using a homemade marking gauge, we quickly lay out the spots for the rivets and the brass lock that will hold them together.
So what is this from? I absolutely love this little measuring
That
thing.
noise.
Instead of using it to like quickly measure an exact distance within the brass, just kind of scratches this distance. Yeah, as you can see, it's just like handmade nail hanging off a piece of wood that he can wedge
That's
in and
crazy though. It's handmade.
Once the
Wait,
marks are
yo.
made, the materials
That's
are
so
then
dope.
hand sawn, filed down to a perfect fit.
Look how locked in he is, bro. Super locked in.
So what Kujovic is doing right now is the engraving on the lock, which is the bottom part of the balisong, and it says K and B for Kultura ng Balisong.
The handle materials of wood
that's so
and
dope.
horn are punched through and joined to the enclosure with brass rivets, hammered snugly in place.
Man, it looks absolutely beautiful, guys. A whole bunch of different materials going into this one handle. He's kind of drilling in pins for each and every one of them so that they're able to hold it in place.
That's so dope, dude. By hand, man. Doing it all piece by piece.
Finally, we add brass to both ends to cap off the handle design and add weight at the right places. Despite looking rough and squared off at this point, the handle is basically good to go. Now, it's back to the grinder. First, the ends are leveled, and then the entire handle is
That's
worked
so
down
cool.
into one smooth, continuous shape.
Starting to round off now, both the brass and the wood have sort of been molded into one smooth handle. And now we're beginning work on grinding down the steel.
With the handle complete, it is blade time. But how did this design come about anyway? And what makes the balisong so controversial and maligned?
I think it was one of our first, if not the first, pocket knife that we had.
The balisong name
Oh, in the
is
Philippines.
believed to have come from the Tagalog word bali, to break, and sungay, or horn. So together,
Wow.
broken horn, due to the frequent use of horn in the handles. Others trace it back to the barangay of Balisong here in Batangas, where we are making.
I love learning about like the history of certain things like that. When you learn that it has a exact meaning. I mean, most words have a meaning, but when you find out what it really means and you kind of piece it together like this puzzle in your brain, that's the coolest shit, dog. I won't even lie. I love that.
So together, broken horn, due to the frequent use of horn in the handles.
Wow.
Others trace it back to the barangay of Balisong here in Batangas, where we are making the blades today. But I'm not really sure what came first. The design itself emerged in the 1800s. Many suggest that the Filipinos drew inspiration from the French taille de roue, a folding measuring tool once used by sailors.
And then Filipinos took it and revolutionized it and made it to where it's flippable with one hand. Because prior to that, it wasn't flippable by one hand. And so the very definition of a balisong is that you can flip it with one hand.
Yeah, that is so cool.
The
That is so
craftsmen
cool.
here in Balisong, though, tell me that the original use of the knife was as a simple farm tool.
If you're a farmer out in the farm and you're holding produce or a bushel of something or a sack of rice or whatever, and you needed to open, you needed a knife, and to be able to open a knife with one hand, balisong was perfect for that.
That's
That
so
efficiency
cool.
helped the blade
Yeah.
gain huge popularity here in the Philippines well before it became known for the flashy flipping tricks. Fast forward to the 1900s, and the balisong was deeply ingrained in Filipino culture. It was used in everything from day-to-day cutting tasks to local martial arts.
That's sick.
But it really picked up wider appeal after World War II and the US occupation of the Philippines. American soldiers stationed there took one look at these funky-looking knives and thought, Now that is something different. And
That's
they bought
clean.
that Bali song tucked away in their duffel bags and footlockers all the way back to the States.
From what I hear, they had a hard time pronouncing the name balisong, and because the balisong looks like a butterfly, when you're flipping it open, it's like
see?
fluttering like a butterfly, the handles.
So they called it a butterfly.
They coined the term butterfly knife.
That's so
This
crazy.
international curiosity only boosted the thriving knife-making hubs in Balisong and Tal,
Whoa,
where the
that was
entire
clean.
neighborhood was now being devoted to manufacturing this specific blade design. The design was featured in martial art demos and pop culture
Whoa.
movies, cementing itself on the global stage.
It is just so clean, though. You can't even lie. It's just one of those things. As a kid, you'd probably be like, woo!
But
you know what I mean?
not
Like,
all of this attention was positive.
It was always held by the bad guy in the movie. Right. It was always used for criminal activity. Right. And it just developed a bad reputation.
It became Hollywood's go-to symbol of this dude means business. And the timing couldn't have been worse. Cities in the 80s were dealing with real-world crime problems
see.
the world over. Butterfly knives got lumped in with switchblades and brass knuckles as symbols of street and gang violence. And
a lot of the time, it's always timing that really defines it. All the timing, every time, the timing. Like, as soon as they really, boom, they're dealing with, like, these knife incidents, like, in certain places, like, and it creates, like, this bad, like, idea of what this knife, like, kind of symbolizes. When in reality, its origins were literally for farmers in the Philippines as well. Like, I don't know, man. The idea that is so cool, but it just sucks by the timing, bro.
Butterfly knives got lumped in with switchblades and brass knuckles as symbols of street and gang violence. And before long, the hammers started coming down. The UK banned them outright in 1988. Other countries followed suit. Even in the US, state after state started cracking down.
You guys don't even ban guns, so it's kind of stupid, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Today, the Balisong is among the most banned knives
Wow.
on Earth. It is restricted or outright banned across the globe.
What we're hoping to do in the future is to be able to make it partially legal. In the Philippines, it's legal to be able to have a gun and carry a gun, but you have to have a permit.
Yeah.
So we want to eventually do the same thing with the balisong as well.
Time to finish up the blade. We're going to be making this blade with stock removal. A large
Dude.
piece of leaf spring that's already been hammered flat needs to be cut way down to size. This thing's far too thick for a blade.
Bro got no gloves,
It's gonna be
nothing.
One sharp knife
Just
by the time we
chilling.
get through this thing.
The blade design we're crafting today is inspired by those wavy Chris daggers that are rooted in tribal Filipino
Wow.
and Indonesian tradition.
That's
The
crazy.
piece of leaf spring has already been cut and hammered flat, but there's still a lot of material to remove. Holes are drilled so that the blade can be mounted, and this time steel rivets, not brass, are hammered into place to hold it secure. We also drill in a hole for the center pin that's going to keep everything aligned when open.
So as you can see, this thing has started to really come together. That is very much looking like a balisong. We've got the lock in place. The blade has kind of been in place, but it is still very clunky at this point. It's kind of just like a large piece of steel. Maybe you could whack someone over the head with this, but otherwise it ain't going to do any damage. And we've got the pins hanging out, but things are really coming together.
Imagine you pull this out. You just have a knife. Yo, they think you got a knife. You pull out this. It looks like a flathead screwdriver. You're like, yo, get back. They're like, what is that? Obviously, it's not done. I know that. But I'm saying, like, yo, just imagine that.
This
Like,
is about 50% complete. We just got the finishing to go.
Queervik's brother Poyang steps in to help finish the blade. We start out cutting the blade to shape with an angle grinder,
whoa.
then establishing the edge with the grinder,
He got a cigarette in his mouth, bro. Yo. That's crazy.
and carefully and slowly we begin to grind in that wavy pattern.
We're going to really start to see that crisp blade shape coming out now, guys. It isn't done entirely by hand, it seems. No measuring, no nothing.
Wow.
Just that straight curve blade from hours of stock removal. That wavy, crisp blade, the sort of Filipino style, the lock at the back. Looks to
Yo.
me just like we've got a couple of pins to finish up, and we should be good. That is one hell of a blade.
Before finishing the blade off though, it must be hardened. To do this, a small forge in the corner of the workshop is powered on using a small pond water pump.
The blade is removed from the handle and it is placed in the forge until it gets just absolutely glowing hot. Right now we're getting
This is what I'm talking about.
Absolutely scorching hot.
The molten.
The blade is then quenched in the finest Filipino quenching oil, straight from a jeepney's last oil
Holy
change.
moly.
Now the perfect level of hardness, the blade can be finished.
Any rough edges are removed. The final center pin is put in place.
Wow.
Hammer in those handle rivets one last time and put on the final edge.
That's a huge knife. Aren't they usually small? That's huge. That's crazy.
And there we have it. A handmade Filipino barley song.
Wow.
The birthplace of the blade. It is a beautiful mix of steel, brass, horn, and wood.
So this is the balisong that Kuya Vic and Kuya Poyeng, the Bautista brothers, just finished making. It's a 29 centimeter balisong,
Yeah, that's
also known as a
crazy.
29. It's a crisp blade, which is very Filipino, iconic type of blade for both balisong and other types of weaponry. It's a really beautiful balisong that they just made in literally half a day. From our group, we wanted to present this and give this as a gift to Andrew and his production team.
Oh, wow.
That's
there you
so
go.
sweet,
Thank you very
dude.
much, man. This is absolutely beautiful, honestly. Really cool. I love it. Now I gotta just learn how to not kill myself with this thing, you know? Quivik, thank you for showing us around today, man. Really awesome.
That was so
I
dope.
wanna ask, man, how long have you been doing this?
I think maybe 30 years
Whoa.
Man, and how did you get into this?
na nagagawa sila. So, araw-araw kong nakikita, kaya natututo na rin po ako.
He learned from his family, his dad primarily.
Because you have 3 brothers,
Yes,
I love stories like that,
and
man.
they're all into
Carrying
barley
tradition.
making.
yes, sir.
What do you think it was about your father that he trained all you guys to get into this space, right?
Kaysa naman po ako'y maglalaro lang na maglalaro din. Ano, ako'y bata pa.
Yeah, so his dad started when he was just 15 years old. When his dad was 15 years old,
Wow.
learning how to make the balisongs. When he had children and they were starting to grow up, Kuya Vic was saying that instead of them just running around playing, that they were taught how to make balisongs, and then eventually it became a way for them to also contribute to the family and eventually being able to provide for their own family when they got married and had kids.
That's
Were
beautiful.
there more balisong makers in the past?
Dude, you must have been called like the cool kid, bro. Like, I can't go play at recess, or I can't go play like or anything like that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go make some knives with my dad. You'd be like the cool ass kid, bro. Like, what? That's low-key sick, dog. Dang. That's low-key crazy, man. But then again, also is to provide for the future, like he said. And I think it's just so pretty, right? So pretty, so beautiful when you hear stories like that, because it kind of shows you like this tradition being carried on through, you know, family, passed down generation. Like, it's so wonderful to see, bro.
Less.
Lahat po dito ng mga tao, o karamihan po, hindi naman
So he was saying that there was a lot more balisong makers here in Taal before, when he first started 30 years ago. And unfortunately, because materials started to become expensive, a lot of the balisong makers either moved abroad or they looked for other kinds of work. There was a decrease in the demand.
Kaya sobrang dami po talaga nung kailan.
He said he remembers in the 90s where it was really, really popular. He said a lot of people were making balisongs. Even the little kids, he said,
Wow.
knew how to at least make the housing or the inlays of the balisong.
So it really was kind of like this town. It was one of the main industries here.
Ito po itong isa po sa kilala ng bayan ng Taal. Ito pong
So this town is known throughout the Philippines as the place for balisong. This is the birth of the Batangas-made, Filipino handmade balisong.
Ang balisong po talaga ay hindi na po.
He was just saying is that his concern is that in the next 20 years that the balisong will be out of our culture. One of the things that we're working on together is
to
to
keep
develop
it.
an apprenticeship program to be able to get young adults interested into learning the balisong, because
That's
it's
so cool.
important that they take an interest in it for us to be able to keep this part of our culture alive.
Yeah. All right, well, that's cool. I hope that apprenticeship program goes well and that there is a future for this industry here, because it'd be kind of sad if the birthplace of the blade no longer makes it, you know? Okay, thanks, man.
As a burgeoning knife nerd, it's something I can kind of get behind. Plenty of pocket knives around the world get treated like cultural icons. There's the Legolet and Opinel in France, the Swiss Army knife in Switzerland, the Navaja in Spain. They're more than just tools. They're tied to a sense of national identity. Meanwhile, the Bali song in the Philippines gets this completely different reception. It is unfairly labelled as more dangerous than it ever really was.
Because you can use like a giant machete
Yeah.
here, but you can't use a Bali song.
Right.
And I mean, well, the machete's pretty Filipino as well, but the other iconic blade of this country, you can't even legally use. That's a pretty big hang up in
Well, that's
getting
crazy.
this kind of thing recognized as a cultural icon.
Right.
Mainly because of sensationalized media portrayals and movies from the 80s and 90s. The truth is, this blade is no riskier or easier to hide than any other folding knife. It's never been involved in any more crime statistically. But unfortunately, these misconceptions have led to bans that stand to this day,
Yep.
and they have nearly erased the Bali song from Filipino heritage.
The Bali song is a fading part of our culture. Even a lot of Filipinos, especially the younger generations, are surprised to learn that it's ours, that it's from the Philippines.
And that, in my mind, is this huge loss for a culture that came up with something unique, a single-handed design that is special. If this thing had come out of Europe, it'd be slapped with so many PDOs, PGIs and TSGs that you'd need a forklift just to lift the label. But because it's Filipino, it's been allowed to be forgotten. And in my mind, it's
Nah,
time
bro,
to
let's
bring
not
back
yeah.
the Bali song.
What kind of
Don't
steps
let
are
it
you
be.
guys doing? How are you trying to continue this tradition?
We're using social media to be able to promote the Bali song and to be able to revive the culture and bring interest back to our people here in the Philippines. We're encouraging people to buy the trainers so that they can practice flipping at home safely.
Like many Filipino blades, the Bali song transitioned from farm tool to weaponry
That's so
and then
cool.
into Filipino martial arts. Today, it is a practical and versatile weapon, perfectly suited to the fast, close combat techniques of systems like eskrima, kali, and harness. Its compact design
That's so
allows
cool.
for concealment
that.
and quick deployment, making it ideal for self-defense and for tactical
Oh, not this
applications.
guy. Don't show me this guy. We know this guy, right?
And Ron and his crew continue to practice this art of flipping. They showcase a bunch of different ranges and styles, from the more artistic flowing movements to the more tactical,
almost a dance to it, too.
combat-ready implementations.
It's literally almost like a dance. It really is. It's very beautiful. Incredible, man. I think that's why you guys linked this over too, to keep it alive. And I really want to. I mean, this is a beautiful part of the Filipino tradition, something that's been created and honestly very, very like beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, man. It's something that's very beautiful that a lot of people sometimes just overlook it, like, butterfly knife is just whatever. But when you see it, the dance to it, the reason for it, the reason it was built, and the Filipino heritage that it has from the past, and it kind of like forms this new perception of what it really is in your head. And I think that's crucial and very important. And hey, love this video. Thank you guys for linking it over, and thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hey, if you liked it, leave a like. If you loved it, subscribe. If you want more, let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, till next time, guys. Peace.
How good you been living? Wait, how good you been living? I've been living too good for you. I've been living too. Did what I did and I do it again. Every move that I make, I ain't feeling repent. Nobody believes to believe it's a friend, and you question your moves like you really won't end.